All right, so here's our number one. Audience, pay attention so that you can understand that you guys are a part of this nation. But we want to show you who the real Canadians really are. Okay? So, number one, you might be Canadian if.
You might be Canadian if you bring a portable TV on a camping trip so that you don't miss hockey.
What? That's important. Number two.
Number two. Number two. Number two. Number two. You guys are going to need to be in the house.
Number two, you might be Canadian if you're not Jamaican.
You might be Canadian if you know that the 4 seasons mean winter, still winter, almost winter, and road work/construction.
Number three.
Number three, Hila.
Number three.
I'm going to ask for number 4, 5, 6. Everybody else be ready, please. All right, number 3, you might be Canadian if.
You might be Canadian if you can sing of Canada in French and actually know what the words mean.
Number 4.
Number 4. Number 5. Yeah, it's number 5.
All right, number 4, you might be Canadian if.
You know how to pronounce and spell Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan.
That's a big deal. How many Jamaicans can spell Saskatchewan? How many of you can even say it properly? Okay. All right. Number 5. You might be Canadian if.
You might be Canadian if you think it's normal to have a grain elevator in your backyard.
That's right. Green elevator in your backyard. Number 6. Who's number 6?
6.
All right. You might be Canadian if you think, ladies, Peter Manbridge is sexy. You know who that man is? CBC news anchor. Let's move on. Number 7. You might be Canadian if.
No 3 spices. Salt, pepper, and ketchup.
Ketchup is the best thing ever made, ladies and gentlemen. The best thing ever made. Even the Jamaicans know how to use ketchup. All right. Science, yes, science. Number 8. Where's number 8? You might be Canadian if.
Driving is better in the winter because potholes are filled with snow.
That's important. Okay, he said, number 8, say it again.
Driving is better in the winter because potholes are filled with snow.
Okay? Potholes are filled with snow. That's a big deal. Because I've been to Clarendon, Jamaica, and let me tell you something. I don't even know how it's legal to drive on those roads. I'm telling you, you get sick.
Wiki drivers.
You get sick. Number 9. Those roads, I'm telling you, they are not blessed. My goodness. Number 9, you might be Canadian if.
You
oil than your car. You might be Canadian. That's the truth. That's the truth. Number 10. You might be Canadian if
you know that a premier isn't just a baby born a few months early.
the premier. If you know that a premier isn't a baby born a few months early. The premier is actually a position. It is a position, not a baby. All right. Number 11. And this is very true. You might be Canadian if
you think minus 10 degrees is mild weather.
You think minus 10 degrees is mild weather. You know you're probably Canadian. I'll never, ever forget when my uncle came to Canada from Jamaica to see that man literally freeze. It was about 0 and he was frozen solid. I've never seen so many layers on a man in my life. All right. All you Caribbean people, listen up. This is important stuff for you. All right. Number 12. You might be Canadian if
You drink pop and not soda.
there's a difference. That's important. Pop and soda. All right.
So you're Canadian if you have two twins named Wayne and Gretzky.
You might be Canadian if you've got twins and you name them Wayne and Gretzky. Those are number 13. Number 14. Number 14, you might be Canadian if
You substitute beer for water when cooking.
there you go. You substitute beer for water when cooking. That's a big deal. Okay? You guys need to understand this. One of the Canadian meals is beer-battered fish.
Yes.
That is a Canadian meal. And it's made with beer. All right. Number 15. You might. Okay, I will do number 15. Number 15 says, you might be Canadian if you die a little inside if you can't get your Tim's double-double every morning. Talk to me. Coffee drinkers, talk to me. That's the truth. Tim Hortons, I know some people who, it almost, I mean, the amount of coffee and Tim Hortons that these guys drink, they might as well have an IV stuck in their arm. I'm serious. Unbelievable. All right, number 16. You might be a Canadian if
You have Canadian Tire money in your kitchen.
Canadian Tire money. Canadian Tire money. Don't be shy. You can admit sometimes you're looking for $1. You open up the door and you think you found some real money. It's Canadian Tire money. It happens. It happens. My sister over there has some in her purse right now. She knows where a good deal is at. Okay. Number 17? Okay, number 17 says, I'll help you out here. For those of you who are a little bit more on the political side and understand a little bit of our political system, you'll appreciate the irony here. You might be Canadian if you know that the Canadian Alliance is just a reformed party with better hair. You gotta be political to get that. Alright? We're trying to appease to everybody in the audience here, okay? Alright. 18. You might be Canadian if
Your local newspaper covers the national news 2 pages but requires 6 pages for hockey.
There you go. Your local newspaper covers the national news on 2 pages, but but requires 6 pages for hockey. Might be Canadian. Yeah, that's fair. Number 19. Number 19, I will do that one. Number 19, you might be Canadian if, now hear this out, this gets a little important. You might be Canadian if you're so cool, or desperate, that you use ketchup-flavored chip residue to dye your hair. You know it's kind of gross, but at least you smell good. And, last but not least, number 20. You might be Canadian if
You've ever had your tongue frozen on something?
Some of us are really honest. You can't tell me that when you were a kid you didn't stick your tongue out on something still colder than I did. All right.